Hi everyone, it is June 24, 2024. We're closing down June. It feels like time is really speeding ahead. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it's really speeding ahead. Anyway, oh yeah, lots of weather. Some news, some craziness, violent craziness. I'll be sharing some links to the dangers that we face due to the Jesuits. And hopefully I'll end with Life is Bullshit. That's the title of videos that people post. Unfortunately, when we can't trust anyone, when there's so much lying going on, when our voice doesn't matter to anyone, when, we've got this criminal cabal that is, the puppets taking the orders from those who are so evil, life really becomes just this surreal thing that we live. So, hi everybody. It is Andrew Cruz and Sandra Pilar Gill and Alicia DeMoss. Hello. Analog Synth Player, Christy Hazelwood, Rage Against the Machine, Angelos, and Dude, What the F, and Kim Blanchard, Jay Northrup, Trace, hey, Barb in Ohio, and James B, SCDHL number 4. You sent me a link. You did, huh? You sent me the link. Okay. I don't know what you're referring to, but okay. Is this what you're referring to? Venison from the Pacific Northwest, dark field blood analysis, polymers, filaments, nanoparticles found, and tracking of biological life via quantum dot nanoparticles. Yay! Yeah, life sure has become something unprecedented. I'll use that word. Patricia White, hello. Redhead, hi. Cecilia Amarati, Steve Ladner. T. Lamb, thank you. T. Jean Brasil. Jean or Jean. Shauna Howard, hello. FEMA Region 3, hey. And if I've missed anybody, I want to say hello to those I've missed. Silent Walk. Hi, Silent Walk. Yeah, and Cecilia Amarati. Very strange things keep happening. You're exactly right. Radar. Look at this. Just what Minnesota needs. More supercell activation. Just what Wisconsin needs. More supercell activation. Wow. Well, they are saying that there's a possibility of tornadoes in Minnesota, flash flooding in Minnesota. Just what you need, severe weather, Minnesota. Wisconsin, you don't need this in Wisconsin, but you have it. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Let's refresh our tornado warnings. Oh wow, they turned off a tornado warning. That was in West Virginia. A day ago. What's going on here? We had tornado warnings today. Why aren't they listed? They're not listed. Man, oh man. Let's refresh for severe weather warnings for Florida, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Yep. Did we even look at Florida? Florida, you usually have your supercell activation going. Right here, Jacksonville area and along the west coast of Florida. What do they say? They say in Beltrami, Clearwater, Marshall, Pennington, Minnesota, severe thunderstorm. It always comes now with large hail, tornadic activity, flash flooding, straight line winds, high winds. Oh, thunderstorms are just not what they used to be. Florida, Duval and Nassau, near Jacksonville International Airport. You've got Wisconsin, Richland, near Richland Center, 9 miles west of Reedsburg, and Sauk, Wisconsin. Oh boy. Lake of the Woods, Minnesota. Minnesota, the same that I just read to you. Thief River Falls, 10 miles east of Thief River Falls. And this one is near Roosevelt, 6 miles west of Gates Corner. Oh, to all of you, may you never, ever, ever have to suffer consequences. If you have already, may you never have to suffer them again. But a whole lot of people are suffering these consequences. Wow, we've got a whole lot of weather. Here we go. Well, there was a tornado in Wisconsin.
I was at the patio doors and I looked to the west and I saw twirling wind, a lot of high winds.
Karen Harris, in her own words, explains what it's like coming face to face with a tornado.
I told my husband we need to get to the basement, and at that time the neighbor's tree came down and hit our house.
This is her home in Janesville. After the National Weather Service says an EF2 tornado blew through the town Saturday night.
Strong enough that it put a trampoline on top of a power wire.
The damage
I can't.
It's okay. Is tough to talk about, but Harris says knowing none of her neighbors got hurt makes looking at the mess a little easier.
We feel very lucky that nobody got hurt.
Just to give you an idea of how much debris there is, this pile of tree branches is taller than I am, and almost every other house on Kellogg Street shows something similar.
All the neighbors were out and we were hollering, is everybody okay?
The storm leaving a mark on the town its residents won't soon forget.
We're definitely going to have to get some professionals in because you can see those up there need to be taken down.
But many, like Harris, will also remember the kindness and generosity of those who stepped up to help.
We're just there to help each other out when something like this does happen.
In Janesville, Emily Pofall.
That's exactly right. Help each other out. So, Waterville, which I showed you the massive flooding that is taking place in Waterville, well, it's getting worse.
How residents are getting ready for more flooding to come.
Waterville remains underwater tonight. Residents trying to navigate parts of their community that look less like a town and more like a river.
I was back today. Some guys were decent enough to help me out with their John boat. and I got some of my stuff out of there.
Michael Hildebrandt hitched an unlikely ride to check on his home feet deep with water.
Everything's underwater, but yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen anything like this.
Many Waterville residents woke up this morning and they looked out their front doors and they saw this streets completely washed out, and they're trying their best to keep that water from creeping up to their homes by lining the sidewalks and their property with the sandbags you see here.
Dennis Caro is one of them. His home, he says, represents his livelihood and he wants to protect it.
It's unreal. It's devastating, actually, for me, because I've never seen this in 20 years.
44 soldiers with the National Guard are on the ground monitoring pump stations like this to help keep the water moving as more rain could be coming.
So we're trained for a variety of domestic operations. Flood fight operations is one of SID mission sets that we can take on.
But for people who call this home like Hildebrandt, they're hoping for the best and they're seeing the best in each other.
You know, you can say what you like about, small towns, but everybody kind of rallies around,
Good. Good. So, catastrophic flooding in Iowa damages nearly 2,000 properties.
Rising floodwaters for nearly a week now, and in many areas it seems conditions are only getting worse.
In Minnesota, the National Guard has been authorized to help communities struggling to stay afloat, while in Iowa, leaders declare a catastrophic disaster there. We have team coverage tonight, starting with Courtney Godfrey in our live center. Courtney, walk us through the latest now from our neighbors to the south in Iowa.
Yeah, good evening, Randy. Historic flooding in northwest Iowa has left entire communities underwater as nearly 2,000 properties are believed to be damaged, hundreds completely destroyed. This as some cities are left without operating water treatment facilities and orders not to flush toilets.
Drone footage capturing the extent of the damage in northwest Iowa as entire neighborhoods are now underwater. The area experiencing historic flooding, leaving many without power and some cities without drinking water.
Right now, we're very concerned about all of our municipal utilities because the city has, water, sewer, electric, gas, phone, cable, internet. And the sewer plant is very concerning. We need water for the public.
Around 1,000 Iowans slept in shelters overnight as wastewater treatment facilities in several cities, including the town of Spencer, were underwater and inoperable.
As of right now, the sewer system is inoperable, and we're asking citizens not to use the toilets, not to use the showers, etc., because it just puts a whole strain on the system.
This as state leaders warn communities to the south could be next.
This is a very serious flood that we're in right now, and it is not going to cease. It is going to blossom across the state.
And while residents load sandbags to prepare for more, officials say Mother Nature is going to be dictating the pace at which everyone can return home.
Mother Nature will dictate the pace. Yeah. Oh. So, Iowa. Houses and cars floating. Severe flood in Rock Valley. So I think 21 counties have a state of emergency going on in Iowa. 21 counties. Farms, homes, businesses. Train bridge in North Sioux City, South Dakota, over Big Sioux River collapses with the flooding.
Back to America's Weather Center. This is a live look from a bridge collapse in North Sioux City, South Dakota. That's one of our storm trackers, Brandon, shot before we went to break. But man, you want to talk about the impacts of flooding? Look at that. And look how fast that water is moving. It's unbelievable, the power of water. When you see it in person, especially, water is just such a scary thing. There's just nothing you can do to stop it in a lot of situations. That's not the only spot that's been affected. Of course, there have been lots of spots across the northern plains and the upper Midwest. It's some drone video out of Spencer, Iowa. This was from yesterday, and wow, river flooding really is something else. I mean,
river flooding. Bridge collapses. Wow. A whole lot of people are really suffering the consequences. The Ripon Dam in Minnesota experiences partial failure due to flooding.
You can see and hear the power of the Blue Earth River. Rising water levels led to the partial failure of the dam in the town of Rapidan this morning. The water is washing away buildings and power lines next to the dam, leading to power outages and dangerous debris in the water. Today we have a next weather alert as widespread flooding continues in Minnesota and western Wisconsin. An already tense situation in southern Minnesota could be reaching critical mass.
People there are worried about the future, and some don't know if they will be able to rebuild. The town of Rapidan is southwest of the Twin Cities in Blue Earth County. John Lauritsen shows us how people are now bracing themselves for the worst.
Everyone, John Lauritsen back again here in Blue Earth County, right by the Rapidan Dam, a very historic dam. It's been here about 115 years, but as you can see, the integrity of the dam is in jeopardy. All that debris due to floodwaters here from the Blue Earth River pushed up against the dam. That has caused the river itself to carve a niche around that western side of the dam and really right into that bank. This morning there was a loud bang, several loud bangs reported by people who live nearby as that part of the river, as it carved that niche out, took out an Xcel Energy substation, it took out a Blue Earth County shed, it took out power poles, it took out trees, all that in the river now. And throughout the day, that rerouting of the river has carved itself into that bank. You can see that home that's kind of just hovering now, at least the east side of the home, hovering over the bank there. That's in trouble, according to the Sheriff's Department. We caught up with people, family members who have worked in that store and lived in that home for decades.
We never ever thought in a million years this would ever happen, and here it is, and we thank everybody for all the well wishes and all the text messages we've gotten over the course here.
And once again, you can see just how fast and powerful that Blue Earth River, the floodwaters are rushing right through that side of the dam. Coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, a little more from the sheriff on what they're hoping here. They hope this will crest tomorrow. And
they have told people to evacuate downstream. Look at this. Drone video shows Missouri River flooding near Sioux City. Mississippi River is also flooding. Wow, this does not look good. Look at this. It literally just took out this street, or maybe it was a little bit of a bridge. I don't know. I don't think so. The ground is caving in. And these people actually had a backyard. Doesn't look like they have that now. A lot of destruction every single day. I don't know when this tornado was in Iowa. I wish people would put dates on it, but check this out. Wind farms, solar farms, they're just getting destroyed with this climate change weather. Extreme weather, severe thunderstorms, tornadoes. Look, there it goes. And another one down. And Cherokee, Iowa, devastating flooding along Little Sioux. This is another town in Iowa. And I can't play this, it's Live Storms Media. This really, look at the, well, I guess this road is closed, obviously. Right? Look at this flooding. Okay. I'd say it's devastating. I'd say an awful lot of people are hurting as I speak. Awful lot of people are really hurting. And may they all have someone that has their back Look at this. It's unbelievable. Right up to the roof. Sacramento fire burns multiple structures and vehicles very fast, and this was just from a grass fire. Grass fires now are incredibly destructive.
To other homes. Zooming in on this one in particular, it looks like the roof has caught fire, but the flames on that home have now been put out. You can see firefighters are inside the top of that building. Right now, no injuries reported by this fire.
Yeah, some pretty significant damage there. KCRA 3's Catalina Estrada is live there on the ground. So Catalina, what are you seeing?
Yeah, so right now we were able to see all that home destroyed, more than 15 vehicles, and those outbuildings like shed completely destroyed. SAC fire officials tell me this quickly spread due to the dry vegetation that you can see right here. That's just basically fuel for these fires. This quickly spread. You can actually see right here next to me how close the flames got to this cage where some chickens are at. And this fire has been contained. However, crews are still out here working to put out all of those spots and that smoke that's still left out here. They're focusing that area that you're looking at right now. That's where they tell us those more than 15 vehicles are at. They're stacked together. They say this was a big fire, 3 to 4 acres, and they have multiple agencies on this. More than 20 crews are right now working to put out this fire when we arrive.
Do you see something a little strange? Now, that's not tall grass. This is grass in people's backyards. But the fire somehow leapt over this tree. Ground fire, plasma fire, leaps over the tree and gets 15 vehicles behind it. Okay. Well, that was a fast fire. And, of course, somebody loses their home. Grass fire that, well, I guess maybe they had grass inside the home. Because this seems a little odd, doesn't it? This fire came from inside the home. Inside. As you can see, I mean, even the umbrella here was untouched. Internal fire from a grass fire outside. Huh. Okay. Makes sense. So, 2 critically injured after an oil tanker explodes in Lee County in Texas.
2 people are critically injured after an oil tanker explosion in Lee County. That explosion happening this morning off Highway 290 east of Giddings. This is a picture of the explosion right there on your screen. You see that black smoke billowing up there. According to Lee County EMS, the 2 people who were injured were transported to Austin. Right now, all Highway 290 lanes at FM 180 are closed due to the crash. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is investigating the explosion.
Are reportedly.
That's good they're investigating. 1 dead after a tire at Firestone explodes.
Well, Justin, Cape Coral police are still working to find out exactly how a tire exploded and killed a person here at this Firestone on Skyline Boulevard. It happened at around noon today, and pretty much it's been a pretty chaotic scene. As you know, since I've been here, it's still a pretty active scene. As you can see, Cape Coral police are still out here at the scene investigating. And here is video we shot earlier from a distance. You can see parts of this garage covered in crime tape, and one witness I spoke to who wanted to remain anonymous said that he heard the exploded object from the distance.
With the oncoming storm, they probably thought they heard thunder, so they probably didn't look too much into it until they saw multiple police cars and the ambulance coming around. It had me a little bit concerned. I also saw the police tape being put up. One of the people in Garden mentioned that they heard someone screaming. Hearing about that it's been heartbreaking, honestly, especially so close to work.
The fire engulfed a lithium battery plant in minutes, trapping workers inside, most of them foreign laborers.
Among the missing workers, there are Chinese nationals and other foreign nationals. About 20 workers are foreign nationals.
The blaze is believed to have started on the second floor of the three-story building, where products were packaged and stored. One eyewitness who escaped says it was started by a spark from a single battery. Firefighters say they saw many blow up.
The government rapidly dispatched firefighters because of the risks associated with a lithium battery plant. When overheated, the batteries can explode and burn more intensely and for longer than traditional ones, and some 35,000 were believed to be inside.
After hours of battling the flames, firefighters entered what was left of the building to survey the damage and retrieve the bodies of those inside. South Korea's Prime Minister Han Duck-soo visited the scene with members of his government promising their full support.
We urge
Lithium battery. Why did we even go here? Why did we even begin with this? They're so incredibly dangerous. They explode. They've been exploding in people's garages, burning down houses. They explode while somebody's just stopped on the street. And hopefully they can get out of their car. Mobile home rental lots increase in price. What one Florida lawmaker is trying to do about it, trying to do something about it.
I'm Ginger Gadsden. You're watching News 6 at 5:30. Lisa Bell is off tonight. A state lawmaker says large corporations are buying up mobile home parks in Florida and jacking up the prices. In 2 weeks, a new law takes effect to try and stop it.
Yeah, the Florida lawmaker who co-authored the legislation says she did it after hearing dozens of horror stories about unacceptable amenities and rising lot rents. There are 3,500 mobile home parks across the state of Florida. It used to be a more affordable way of living, but lawmakers say big corporations are changing all that. News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden looks at just how big the problem is and the legislation that could help people get results.
Angela Silas has lived in Lake Runnymede Mobile Home Park for 13 years, but says in the last 3 years, the amount she pays to rent the lot her home sits on has increased from $415 a month to $915 a month.
What do you think about the amount that you pay?
I think it's ridiculous because a lot of us are homeowners here. We have no amenities.
She says even though the price has gone up, the service has not.
When I first moved in, you could see the lake. We had a pool. We had a dog park. The pavilion had a grill. It was very pretty around here. It was a nice place to live. Now I don't feel like that.
Her neighbor, Christine Clemens, who also said,
and she also is paying $915 lot rent. That is huge. Now, can government do something about this? Absolutely. They could actually prevent these investment firms from buying up all of these properties. You know, protect the individual residents and states. Why haven't they done that? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that, yeah, there's something very wrong when we have all of these investment firms like BlackRock buying single homes, buying up mobile parks, where people, they wouldn't be living there if they had loads of money. Yeah. Destroy Americans every which way. California reveals all job gains in 2023 were fake. Wow. Oh, our lying government officials that so many people love. Oh my God. And here, listen to this.
California, which is my home state, is really starting to get on my last nerve. Now, in addition to them being California, giving migrants a whole host of things, like they're going to be paying $2.6 billion for their health care, regardless of what their status is, they've also decided to give them something else. And that something else is this: Cash Assistance Program for Immigrants. CAPI is 100% state-funded program designed to provide monthly cash benefits to age, blind, and disabled non-citizens who are ineligible for SSI and SSP. So,
let me just say, CAPI is 100% funded by the residents of California. Okay.
Only due to their immigration status. Now it says that an individual may be eligible for CAPI if they meet all of the following conditions. So some of them are a non-citizen and meet the immigration status criteria in effect for SSI and SSP as of August 21st, 1996. Got to be over 65, blind or disabled. Some other things say you got to reside in California. The income must be less than the CAPI standards. And that sounds like it's a limit of $2,000 for an individual and $3,000 for a couple, and some other things. Okay, whatever. Now, mind y'all, this is a state that's trying to decide whether they're going to give Black Americans, Black Californians, I should say, reparations due to because I say R because I am a Californian.
But California was not a slave state. But isn't that interesting? Okay. Illegal migrants are getting so much. Americans, Californians in this instance, yeah, you get shafted. USA, I'll put the link in. I'm just going to play just a few minutes of this video. USA warning, 99% of people have no clue. No. I think more people have a clue, but hey.
So I'm going to start with the most mind-blowing one that I've got right out of the gate. And this is stuff that we have to pay for. Let's just jump right into it because it is going to blow your socks off. Check this out.
Today, a grand opening for a high-rise homeless shelter featuring apartments with skyline views, a gym, even a cafe.
Eyewitness News reporter Mark Cotaropolis joins us here in studio with details on this.
We're going to show you what $165 million will get you. It's considered affordable housing, but the cost to build this type of a project, it still adds up. Each unit costs nearly $600,000.
Affordable housing at $600,000 per unit that taxpayers have to pay, huh? It's insane what they're going to get. It's going to be a lot more than most of us out there that are actually working hard for what we got.
It costs nearly $600,000, and it's being funded by taxpayers. Take a look at the images here. There are 278 units in this 19-story development known as the Weingart Tower. It's intended to help people currently without shelter on Skid Row. This will be LA's largest permanent supportive housing project. There is an entire floor of offices for caseworkers, and the list of amenities is pretty impressive. As you mentioned, there's a gym, an art room, a music room, and a computer room and library. People living here will enjoy 6 common balconies and a cafe. The $165 million project is receiving permanent financing from Proposition HHH, which voters overwhelmingly passed in 2016. The new tower is also receiving state housing funds and $56 million in state tax credits. The grand opening set for later this morning. Several elected officials are going to be there, including Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. And guys, this is really just the beginning. There's more planned. Another tower more than a year away, but it's under construction.
Tell me in the comments how that makes you feel, and
does it even make sense? No, it doesn't. Is this really affordable housing? Everything, it would be laughable if it wasn't so a slap in the face to an awful lot of hardworking people who are really struggling now, getting closer and closer to the financial cliff, and they're spending on one unit $600,000 of taxpayer money. It's all happening again. The supply chain is under strain. Happening again? From what time? Oh, COVID time. So, why cargo prices are soaring. The Houthi rebels in Yemen firing on ships in the Red Sea en route to the Suez Canal prompted ships to avoid the waterway, instead moving the long way around Africa, lengthening their journeys. Severe drought in Central America dropped water levels in the Panama Canal, forcing authorities to limit the number of ships passing through. Dock workers have threatened to strike on the east and Gulf coasts of the United States. Longshore workers at German ports have halted shifts in pursuit of better pay. Rail workers in Canada are poised to walk off the job. I'll put the link if you want to read any more details, but of course, wow, they can create these supply chain disruptions with such ease, and everybody will believe that all of these reasons are legitimate. Stock up if you can. All right, I'm going to play a few minutes of this. I like this woman, Ashley Pickens, who's a real estate agent, auctioneer in Atlanta. Foreclosure numbers soar in Florida and Texas.
For the month of May, right? So foreclosure starts, cities and states with the highest foreclosure rates, and REO properties, right? But y'all know I don't really believe these numbers. You got to multiply by 2. Okay? But let's roll with this article. Let's jump in, see the states and the cities with the most foreclosures for the month of May. So, this article says there were a total of 32,621 properties with foreclosure filings for the month of May. Keep in mind, there are usually 3 filings when it comes to foreclosure. 3 phases, 3 filings, 3. Okay, so the first one is when a homeowner gets behind on their mortgage, usually 3 months, but we got a lot of people who ain't paid since COVID, right? But usually a homeowner gets behind on their mortgage 3 months, then that notice of default is filed. That's the first filing. Second filing, the auction is scheduled, and the third filing is the bank repossesses the property. Okay, so keep in mind a property can have numerous filings. Like back in 2008, I remember seeing the numbers, and it was like 1 million properties had 2 million filings, and I was like, what? But keep in mind, at any point in the process, well, until it gets repossessed, the process can stop and start over. Like if a house is going up for auction, right, they can file bankruptcy, and that will stop the auction.
That's one of the reasons why I included this. So if any of you are getting closer to foreclosure and you don't want your house to be auctioned off, file for bankruptcy.
And I've seen it plenty of times. Somebody files bankruptcy, it stops the auction. Then a couple of months later, something happens with the bankruptcy and they're back in foreclosure. And that starts the process all over again, okay? So just keep that in mind.
At least it'll give you a little more time.
So we've got 32,621 properties somewhere in the foreclosure process for the month of May, which is up 3%. So not a lot, but again, you got to take these numbers with a grain of salt, okay? So let's see where the highest foreclosure rates are across the country. So right now, the states with the highest foreclosure rates were New Jersey. 1 in every 1,939 houses have a foreclosure filing. Also on that list is Illinois, Delaware, Connecticut, which is surprising. I don't usually see Connecticut, right? Connecticut not really on the list. And Florida. Next on that list is, let's break it down to some cities with the highest foreclosure rates. We've got Longview, Texas. Y'all, where's Longview, Texas? Y'all tell me. Raise your hand if you in Longview, Texas, right? Trenton, New Jersey. Atlantic City, New Jersey. Lakeland, Florida. and Bakersville, California. Maybe Lakeland, Florida, has been on the list for years. Years. When it comes to Florida, it's gonna be Lakeland. Miami been on the list. Orlando has been on the list a lot as far as foreclosures. Jacksonville has been on the list a lot. Those are the main cities in Florida. Let's keep going. Bigger cities. We've got Chicago, Illinois. You know, Chi-Town, y'all stay on the list. I was born in Chicago, so you know, it's all love. Chicago, Illinois. We got Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Riverside, California. If we talk about California, it's going to be Riverside, Los Angeles. We got Bakersfield, California. That's just cities that always keep coming up on the list. So, Riverside, California, Jacksonville, Florida, and Las Vegas, Nevada.
Cecilia, are you asking the link for this video? Look, not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So tired of this. Were you asking for the link to this woman? If so, the link is in the chat. She goes through more important information. Stay in your homes if you can. If you can. Okay, so inflation is ruining Americans. I will post the link to this. And I'm only going to play one, but a whole lot of people are really hurting.
Does anyone else feel like they're absolutely fucking drowning financially? As a single 29-year-old woman, I have 3 jobs. And I'm still fucking struggling. And I'm just getting myself farther and farther into credit card debt because I don't have enough after the first of the month to avoid using it. It just isn't working. Full-time job. Not doing it. Got a second job. It's barely doing it. The third job. Hit or miss. If I even get paid on time. I feel like I'm drowning and I don't know what to do. I don't know if any industry is doing well right now. I used to be a server. I used to have all this cash every night whenever I would walk out with cash.
Every industry is going down. And this, she's 29 years old. She has 3 jobs and she's not making it. So there's an awful lot of people in her position. And there are more who are talking about what the hell, they can't make it. So when you see this happening, you know that a whole lot of people are really stressed out. And, for those people who still believe the horseshit that they hear, the economy is doing well. Oh, there are so many jobs out there. Every month, Biden administration, somebody comes out and says, oh, we created 500,000 jobs. No, it's an abject lie. And, man, the younger generations, I really feel for, because this was just at 29, even with all of what I was going through, my circumstances, I never felt like there was no hope. Just keep working at it, just keep working at it. There was opportunities, there were jobs. Not anymore. Not anymore. The middle class has been destroyed. Jay, you're right. Oh boy. But when you have so many people who are really struggling, stressed to the max, chronically, you are going to see more and more losing it. That, I mean, my God, so many. And they don't deserve it. So many don't realize that this is deliberate. It's deliberate. What is this? Oh, fearing losses, banks are quietly dumping real estate loans. It's early, but telling. It's a telling sign of the broader distress brewing in the commercial real estate market, which is hurting from the twin punches of high interest rates, which make it harder to refinance loans, and low occupancy rates for office buildings. Yeah, well, this too is purposeful. The economy is not doing well at all. Seniors in high-rise apartment without air conditioning. Without air conditioning. And if you listen, you'll hear it was a simple fix.
Listen, we've all been dealing with this extreme heat, the wild weather. This is a perfect Friday good news story because we got information that the AC now flowing again in this senior high-rise. Started a few hours ago. Going to take a while to cool the whole building down. So I got in touch with our friends from Kroger here, and they have brought cases of bottled water. We're going to make sure that everyone in this building gets some nice water to stay cool during this heat wave. Take a look.
It was so hot. With the 90-degree weather all this week, it was unbearable here.
Relief, it is finally coming for the seniors here in this building.
This morning, it was on. I don't know if all departments working, but mine is on.
Jeanette, thankful the AC flowing once again after her East Side apartment building was without for days. She emailed Help Me Hank. She couldn't get answers from management. She and many others were so upset when I visited yesterday.
A woman, she fell out in the lobby there, and they just took her to the ambulance.
She was just overcome by the heat.
That too, yeah, she was laying out there in the lobby when they came.
So I got in touch with the city of Detroit. I knew we had to fix this problem immediately.
The inspector has an ambient air thermometer, and so they were able to check the temperature, and it was 89 degrees in the building.
Arthur Russian is the chief enforcement officer with the city of Detroit, and when he heard about this problem, he got his team out here right away.
We reached out to upper management, and we were able to get them to commit to make sure that the repairs are going to be done as soon as possible.
And to make sure these seniors stay cool, I put a call into our good friends at Kroger. They stopped by today, generously donating cases of bottled water to make sure these seniors stay hydrated.
I thank Hank. I thank him so much for coming out. He came on out and got us some results here.
Thank you again to Kroger for letting us, for helping us get the water here to the people in this high rise on the east side of Detroit. You may be wondering what was causing all of the problems here. Well, the city says it was a faulty fan. Once they got a crew out here to take care of it, the management team was quick to make this right. And Jeanette, thank you.
But they went for days without air conditioning. Faulty fan. Oh, something not right. Man killed during fight over parking spot.
Yeah, that's right. So we're told, the police saying this was an ongoing dispute and this deadly shooting. A witness here who lives in this neighborhood in Export saying he heard and saw 6 shots fired. It happened up this street on Madison Avenue. The victim's family telling me he was killed. He doesn't live here. He was just visiting his girlfriend.
Yeah, see the tent up there, that corner right there? It was over this way, is where he got shot.
A deadly shooting over a parking spot on Madison Avenue in this quiet Export neighborhood. The man Pennsylvania State Police say pulled the trigger, 32-year-old Matt Miller of Export, led away in handcuffs.
I seen the guy shoot the guy. I heard 6 rounds go off. Then I seen him throw the gun down or did something with it. He was standing there, looked like he was holding a cell phone. But I don't know. I went and got my gun just in case I needed to use it. I wasn't going outside unless he came over. He wasn't moving when I seen a girl come down, checked him out.
State police confirmed the victim is 65-year-old Dan Chica. His brother's too distraught to talk. They told me off camera he was visiting his girlfriend. He was confronted about the parking spot. One neighbor says Miller recently moved in and was territorial about the parking spot.
Definitely a shame guy got killed for nothing. It's stupid, whatever happened. And it's just bad.
Chica's brothers tell me they called him Slim. He was a retired coal miner, a dad from Avonmore. He was a great guy who would help anybody. He loved motorcycles and RC airplanes.
It's crazy. Nothing like that should happen in our towns here. I lived in Murraysville most of my life and I moved here. And it's always been fun and nice. It's just not.
Parking spot. Okay, police revealed the illegal immigrant Victor Hernandez, who raped and murdered a Maryland mother of 5, Rachel Morin, also raped a 9-year-old little girl prior to that. So, yeah, I guess he got released to rape again. This is what's happening. So, yeah, I have a UK subscriber who just got back from her vacation in Turkey. And, yeah, considering what is going on, she made it there and back. And UK tourists warned they may not be welcome in Spain, France, and Turkey hotspots. Some of them have seen tensions between locals, these in Turkey and France and Spain, tensions between locals and UK holidaymakers and tourists this year amid protests and demonstrations over perceived over-tourism and a low quality of visitor. It's interesting to note how many of these destinations are located in Europe, and some are a relative stone's throw away, which highlights the demand the UK has for warmer weather and how people don't want to go far for it. Interesting. UK, the holiday makers want warmer weather, and yet we have heard from the Met Office meteorologists that UK had their warmest ever spring. Shouldn't say spring, but you guys have the same seasons that we do, or maybe not. I can't remember. But Istanbul was the 10th most searched for destination with 28,000 monthly searches on average, but Brits have been advised against, quote, all but essential travel to parts of Turkey. 3 areas that the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office lists as places to avoid at all costs due to a, quote, heightened risk of terrorism, unquote. The warning reads, quote, most terrorist attacks have occurred in southeast Turkey, Ankara, and Istanbul. You should remain aware of your surroundings, keep up to date with local media reports, and follow the advice of local authorities. Paris was named 4th, but has introduced a tourist tax ahead of the Olympics this summer. And in a top spot was Amsterdam in the Netherlands, which is cracking down and clamping down on UK stag parties and lads' holidays. The young, I guess, are going like Americans. Too bad. New campaign launched by city officials is aiming to deter partying Brits from traveling to the Dutch capital. British tourists who Google common searches such as Amsterdam Red Light District, Amsterdam Stag Party, will be directed to a new quiz via Google Ads. Well, UK tourists will have to pay a hefty tourist tax in 2024 after the French capital hiked fees ahead of the upcoming Olympic Games. The fee varies depending on the type of accommodation, which with tourists paying the highest price for luxury hotels. Tourists that stay in a palace, a prestigious five-star hotel with special features, will now pay €14.95, €14.95, or £12.85 extra per night. Oh, they do not want people traveling. They'll get them anytime, any way they can. So the FBI apparently is kicking out Trump supporters and vax skeptics. Does that sound like we're in the United States anymore?
This Twitter handle called Empower Oversight. It's the accountability and public integrity through the power of information. DefendWhistleblowers.com. Tristan Levitt is the president. They tweeted this out. They tweeted this thing out. Here is one of the interview outlines that the FBI Security Division used to question our client's co-workers about his political opinions. So the FBI is trying to get rid of everybody in the FBI who they don't like, meaning they think has the wrong thoughts in their heads. Like they might support Donald Trump. They might have inside information about January 6th and know it was a setup, and they might have questions about the vaccine. They weren't asking they're asking their coworkers. You want to see it? So here it says, this is an administration investigation regarding an allegation that this person, they block out, engaged in conduct that calls into question his ability to maintain a top secret security clearance pursuant to the national security, blah, blah, blah. You are being asked to provide information as a fact witness as part of an investigation conducted by the Security Division. You have a duty to reply to these questions posed to you during this interview. Should you refuse to answer or fail to reply fully and truthfully, action against your security clearance may be undertaken and you may be referred to the Inspection Division for possible disciplinary action.
Yeah, this is the Civil War at the top I'm talking about.
So they go, hey, how long have you known this person? In what capacity? How do you socialize? Have you ever heard this person vocalize support for Donald Trump?
As you all know, I am not a Trump fan. But really? Wow. Remember what Biden said just weeks after he took the oath of office? When asked by a reporter if he was going to be campaigning for re-election, which is kind of bizarre, only weeks after he's in office. And he said that he didn't know if there was going to be a Republican Party. We may see an awful lot occur between now and then. I'll post the link if you want to listen to more. Yeah, the FBI is really the Stasi. That's what's going on. Oh, God. Yeah. Now he's going after livestock. Anywhere he can kill, the man's on it.
Well, the Gates Foundation has partnered with DFID on a great number of things, and among those are work we do together on livestock, helping animals survive either by having vaccines or better genetics, helping them be more productive. It's making a big difference. I was down in Ethiopia seeing how chickens are out there laying more eggs, getting more nutrition, and even some small savings into the household. So Edinburgh happens to be where a lot of the world's best work on this is done, and that's why DFID and the Gates Foundation are funding scientists here.
I guess we can't get rid of these people, huh? If we all stood together. But we don't. Alright. I'm also going to link below to this video, which I'm going to play a few minutes of. But I will tell you, doesn't matter how many peer-reviewed studies that are coming out showing the dangers of that product, but that's all misinformation. So don't believe it. Right? Right.
What? A peer-reviewed study has found that 74% of sudden deaths were likely due to the COVID-19 vaccines.
Yes.
Now, this study was originally published in The Lancet a year ago. It immediately got 100,000 downloads. That's unbelievable. And then immediately, the next day, The Lancet pulled that study.
Huh.
But it's a peer-reviewed study. And how many people died of sudden deaths are connected to the vax? 74%. Likely due to the COVID-19 vaccines. Now, of course, that the CDC and the FDA, I'm sure, say that's not true because they say it's safe and effective, and it's been approved for emergency use authorization. Did you know we're still in emergency?
No.
I don't think we're in. I thought the president said that the pandemic was over like a year ago at least, or more. Are we still? I don't know. Are we still in an emergency? I don't know. A peer-reviewed study has found that 74% of sudden deaths were likely due to the COVID-19 vaccines, and another study has shown that these vaccines increase the risk of blood clots in the brain. These findings have led to discussions about the potential cognitive damage caused by the vaccines, with some individuals reporting severe brain fog, psychiatric destabilization, and accelerated dementia following vaccination. Did someone give Joe Biden the actual vaccine?
No, of course not. I'm posting the link again. Oh, that's a dangerous subject for YouTube. Just know that that study, it was retracted because that's all misinformation. It was peer-reviewed by an awful lot of, scientists, but it's misinformation, okay? Got it? Good. Good. And here, 24-year-old National Guard Army specialist was forced to get that product. She then had a heart attack. Now has heart issues. And the Army confirms that her health issues are linked to that product.
I'm 24 years old. I have had 3 heart attacks, a mini stroke, and I am now getting a pacemaker.
What's to blame?
The COVID vaccine, and that's when everything flipped upside down for me.
So is this Army memo an acknowledgement that your heart condition is the result of the COVID vaccine?
It 100% is.
Were you left behind by the Army and the National Guard?
I was left behind and trampled.
Meet Carolina Stanczyk, a specialist in the Army National Guard. She takes 27 pills every day after...
By the way, you did hear that, right? The Army National Guard. Okay? I've said this so many times. The National Guard was usurped by the Coast Guard and the Army. It is now under the control of the Pentagon, not the governors.
Suffering her first heart attack while on active duty.
Did you have heart issues before you joined the military? Not a single heart issue. I could run 10 miles at a time, play basketball, and now I have trouble just standing up.
What's to blame?
I mean, the only thing that would have changed was the COVID vaccine, and that's when everything flipped upside down for me.
Government records obtained by our investigative team confirm Stancic has a serious heart condition, and her case may open the door to service members who believe they were harmed by the Defense Department's COVID vaccine mandate.
Okay. Again, I get nervous. The link is in the chat. That's mainstream media. So, if mainstream media can report it, then I can include it. YouTube. And look at this. I mean, Americans, what the hell has happened to you? Biden's latest DEI hire deletes past anti-white and anti-police tweets. This is who gets hired. The new White House Associate Communications Director. Well, he sure does have a lot to communicate. Right? Right. Okie dokie. Wow. Wow. Our country has really just, it's so gone. Gives you a headache. Okay. Meet Tyler Cherry. Whoa. And is anybody else following this drama? Reality TV drama on the presidential election debate? I'm not, but I came across this. This proved our point. CNN anchor slammed over mic cut, exposing Jake Tapper lies. It's not just Jake Tapper, but there's an awful lot of lying going on, for sure, on CNN. And Jake Tapper was one of them who, whoa, he was a great mouthpiece for all of the Trump-Russia propaganda. So now he's apparently involved in this debate, which seems a little odd, but hey, what do I know?
It takes someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently, frequently likened President Trump to Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf, I am willing to have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay.
Now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Caroline, thank you very much for your time. You are welcome to come back at any point. She is welcome to come back and speak about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump will have equal time to Joe Biden when they both join us now at later this week in Atlanta for this debate.
It takes someone.
Don't you love it when people protect and defend their lying colleagues? Yeah, this is some of it.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler.
is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, in the United States. Donald Trump, a couple times over the weekend, referred to immigrants from South America, Africa, and Asia. He did not mention Europe. South America, Africa, and Asia as, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, which it's not hyperbole. That does very directly echo Adolf Hitler's language before World War II. If you were to open up a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf, you would find the Nazi leader describing the mixing of non-Germans with Germans as poisoning. There's really no other way to say it. Donald Trump's language mirrors this directly.
I'm sure you all know that there's so much more. So much more. But, yeah, anyone, oh God, and he's got so many people. Rah, rah, Donald Trump. You know, he admitted that he was a Freemason.
They were married maybe 5 or 6 years, because look how they look so young. Should you say how many years you've been married? Oh, sure. 5? Been together 38.
Been together 38, but in the Lord.
33 of the 38 under the blood. It's actually amazing. I would have
But can I say this? I'm so grateful.
And that was Trump that said that, by the way. He said, I'm actually a Mason, so I would know that. All right, again, we're going to hear it again. If you're not listening, now you are.
38.
Been together 38, but in the Lord.
33 of the 38 under the blood.
See?
It's actually amazing. I would have
But can I say this? I'm so...
One more time. One more time and let him hear it say it. All right. Listen to Trump after
33 of the 38 under the blood. It's actually amazing. I would have
But can I say this? I'm
He said everyone on both sides of the coin here, Republican, Democrat, whatever it is, anything they can divide into sections, they're gonna play it against each other. And anything that's going to upset the people and cause fear and loosh or energy for these people, they're going to do it. All right. Now this is a proof positive example of Trump calling himself a Mason, and then the symbolism of 35, 38, and then 33 thrown out there. And then watch Trump as he says, I'm actually a Mason, I know that. He's also going to cross his hands together, and you're going to see a bunch of Masonic symbols here. And this guy's going to say, under the blood. Okay, they were together for 38 years. This is Trump talking at the White House a little while ago. At Black History Month, he had some people at the office. They were talking about some universities and stuff that they're going to help with the black community. But this lady here, Miss Belinda Scott, this guy right here, and all the rest of them, Ben Carson will be heading up this whole thing for HUD. All right? Now, he says, or she says, that they've been together for 38 years. Okay? Right here. 38 years. All right, he says, well, he said 35 they were married. And then she says, well, total 38. All right, so you got the 3 5s already. We showed you the 3 5s of 14 is very important to this. We showed it yesterday. The 3 5s equal 3 6s. To them, it does. All right, then he'll say, but 33 of the 38 under the blood, while he has his hands folded as the Masonic symbol. And then Trump says right after that, I know I'm actually a Mason. So I would know that. He said, I'm actually a Mason. He said it live on television. There's no escaping it. He said it on purpose so you could hear it. I tell you this all the time. If you had any doubt that he was on the other side and playing both of us, where everybody's asked, then that should tell you and show you that what I tell you as they throw it in your face is absolutely true. Now you are.
38.
Been together 38, but in the Lord.
I didn't know. I just learned that today. It's a big club, and none of us are members of that club. Remember, I told you I was a snake. So, I am going to link below to this article, Vatican Power, Witchcraft, and Top U.S. Officials. There's an awful lot of Jesuits in our government. I'm just going to read some of it. 5 of the 8 U.S. Supreme Court justices are Roman Catholic with their first allegiance to the Pope and his fascist agenda. Not America. The U.S. is being used to subdue and destroy the Middle East for the Vatican, as many of America's top military leaders are Roman Catholics with their first allegiance to Rome, not America. This article was, I think, 2006. And it goes through a whole lot. Is the Bush administration, the Trump administration. Check out how many Jesuits were in the Trump administration. The Attorney General, William Barr, was an Opus Dei Jesuit. Opus Dei, a Vatican institution. So, in fact, every major political appointment made by the illegal occupant of the White House, Luciferian skull and bones man, George Bush, has been consistently Roman Catholic. A Vatican researcher who connects the dots among the Illuminati, the Bush administration, and the Vatican, all trying to destroy America silently from within, lies and deceptions. Opus Dei, John Roberts, Samuel Alito. Opus Dei is, it's an institute. I posted a video on Never Lose Truth about William Barr and his involvement in Opus Dei. And if I'm recalling correctly, they do some charitable work, but it's like an educational institution. Peter Pace, Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Michael Peter Jackson, the Department of Homeland Security, Alberto Gonzales, remember these names? U.S. Attorney General. Honorary Shriner and Knight of Malta, former President Ronald Reagan's administration was the most Roman Catholic, but the Bush administration now holds that record. Former CIA Director, Knight of Malta, George Tenet, Jesuit trained at the Walsh School of Foreign Service. Foreign CIA Director, Porter Goss. Brother Jeb became a 3rd-degree Knight of Columbus and 33rd-degree Freemason, Southern Baptist devotee of the pagan goddess. And oh boy, do I remember everybody. He was a born-again Christian, and the Christians loved George Bush. Ooh. Secretary of State Pompeo, I also think, is Jesuit trained. But there were a number of Jesuits in the Trump administration. So, oh, well, Al Gore. Ugh. It doesn't matter who the okay, and remember that video of Trump and Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and the Archbishop of New York? And they had to bow down to the Archbishop. And apparently it's the Archbishop who decides who is going to be the president when all the campaigning is pretty much over and done with. It doesn't matter who the Archbishop of New York selects, the same wicked Jesuit agenda will be served by his puppet in the White House, who is nothing more than a slave to the Jesuits of Georgetown University, his local boss, Theodore Cardinal McCarrick, who was trained by the Jesuits at Fordham and ordained to the Romanist priesthood by Francis Cardinal Spellman in 1958, and his national political boss, Jesuit-trained Edward Cardinal Egan. A Jesuit and Vatican researcher connected the dots between the high military leaders trained at the Jesuit Georgetown and connected to the Knights of Malta, powerful organization in America fronting Vatican power and dominance over U.S. foreign policy and domestic policy. So, I'll post the link. Did I do that? I can't remember. The Jesuits. Gotta bow down to those Jesuits and take an oath in secrecy. But they put the Jews out front. The Jesuits really have mastered deception. And I will post this, Jesuits, Rulers of Evil. A lot of good topics. Well, good topics, I mean, Jesuits, Rulers of Evil, Part 1. It's not the Jews, it's the Jesuits. Chronology of 500-year Jesuit deception and flat earth. How the Vatican created Islam by former Jesuit priest Alberto Rivera. The next president, Jesuit or Jesuit, you choose, America. Trump, Ted Cruz ticket, Illuminati and Jesuits. Obama owned and ruled by the Jesuits' kitchen cabinet. I posted videos on the number of Jesuits in the Obama administration. Knights of Malta, Jesuits' plans for world takeover. Who really runs America? Oh boy. Oh man, oh man, oh man. The manufactured invention of the Beatles, Stones, Grateful Dead. Birth of rock and roll by the Tavistock Institute, a Jesuit corporation. Alright. I'm going to read some of this, but I will also post the link. And I want to thank my subscriber for sending along this article. Very interesting. Yeah. Florida is not, I'm just going to read excerpts. Florida is not a bastion of free speech or liberty or rights. Their legislators are attempting to limit free speech. And these underlined here are links to further information. Here is a link to directed energy weapons do mass murder in Paradise, California. The U.S. government directed energy laser weapons used on their own citizens in Paradise, California. Jesuit-trained politicians. Oh my God, the Jesuits in California. Wow. A whole lot. And Pelosi. Pelosi goes to the Vatican. A whole lot. Both red and blue are the enemy, as well as those who follow orders by them. No Democrat or Republican politician gets any significant position without proving loyalty to the globalist and Vatican agenda. The full spectrum dominance. Now that sounds like a policy of a just and righteous nation, doesn't it? All right, I'm going to link again. You can read more. I did highlight quite a bit. I think some of you know, but the whole world, including many Americans, will see the death of Americans as a just and fair consequence for obeying evil rulers and voting for them, and for allowing their government to be such a destructive force in the demise of civilization. Resist while you can. But it also goes into how our world leaders are all in it together. They're all playing their part. China, Russia, U.S., Israel, They're all playing their part. So, Project Portal exposed.
Videos like this have been going viral of strange objects being carried through the sky by helicopters, UFO-like, many people wondering what the heck is it. Well, what it is may not only shock you, but it may make you very concerned for the future, as what the elites are doing is they are using these massive devices to survey the electromagnetic field. This is not just a random piece of metal being carried, it's not something being delivered. This right here is a scientific observation device, and as you take a look at this right here, portals around Earth. This is directly from NASA video on YouTube. So NASA has admitted they've discovered what they believe to be portals. Space-time magnetic portals around Earth that can theoretically not only allow you to harness unlimited energy, but could also allow you to transport between universes and other things that they have theorized. Now, none of that is confirmed, obviously, but just the fact that they believe it's possible and they're clearly trying to find a way to access it should scare us all. Because if the elites can find a way to harness unlimited energy, if they can find a way to have that amount of power over us, we're not going to have any chance to fight back. And that right there is extremely terrifying. So we need to be sounding the alarm now and making sure that if this power does exist, it doesn't get into the wrong hands. Here's the footage again of the one that has been going viral more recently. This one looks a little bit different than the other one, but both of them are used for the same thing. They're both scientific devices that are flying through the air, collecting lots of data.
What the hell is that?
Oh, wow. Well, this is our world today, and I will say that we are already at a point of no return. No return. There's no way that we could ever fight any of this when we have Americans at one another's throats. We just can't do it. And unfortunately, there's, the only thing that we have control over is ourselves. Ourselves. And how we operate in the world, trying to make it a little bit better. And Russia tells U.S. ambassador it will retaliate over Sevastopol missile strike. Moscow blames the United States for good reason. Says retaliation will definitely follow after U.S. supplied missile attack kills at least 2 children. That's what we're good for. The killing machine. Russia has blamed the United States for a barbaric act in Crimea that relied on U.S. provided missiles and killed at least 4, including children, wounded 151 others. The foreign ministry in Russia summoned U.S. Ambassador Lynn Tracy on Monday and accused the U.S. of waging a proxy war and said retaliatory measures would definitely follow. Such actions by Washington will not be left without response. There will definitely be response measures. Absolutely barbaric. Missiles on a beach. Now, Zelensky, go ahead, shoot them into Russian territory. Do you really think that this... Now, yes, Russia plays its role in this dynamic. We know that. But when you look at our foreign policy and our foreign actions, how could any American feel any kind of security? I think we're going to get our butts kicked. Oh, and yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I'm not a fan of any politicians, but she's right. This should not be happening. Imagine if Russia, using a Russian satellite, fired cluster munitions on a Florida beach. The only border our American military should be defending is our own border, and the Constitution mandates the federal government to defend the states. Well, none of that is happening. U.S. drone-directed missile strike, dropping deadly cluster bombs on civilians, winning the hearts and minds. Not. So, there are some videos that I'll come across them in my home page. I don't subscribe to them, but I come across them and I'm like, oh, dumbing yourself down to be able to socialize. Huh. How many of you can relate to that?
It's already hard to communicate with people, socialize in this world that we're living in. What I mean, higher level of intelligence is not necessarily math skills or your IQ necessarily. Higher level of intelligence, I mean, in all aspects of life, right? How wise you are, and your intuition, sort of. You know, people that are really observant as well, that can sense energy, intuitive people. That's what I mean by intelligent, you know, sort of like old souls. So for us, it's already hard to communicate with people and feel like we fit in. In my case, I struggle with fitting in with almost everybody or every social group out there, because I just think different and I am different. So, and on top of that, add to it that I have a higher level of understanding in many aspects of life, intelligence and knowledge, because I've dedicated my life to learning, studying. In my case, I'm an aviation pilot, which encompasses knowing about physics, meteorology, psychology, science, and many other miscellaneous as well aspects, many other miscellaneous areas of knowledge. So you add that on top of things, and it makes it really hard for me to have basic conversations with people, to have, you know, I've become a guy that actually has gotten good at doing short talk, but still it's sort of uncomfortable sometimes because I feel like I have to dumb myself down. Many other people that identify with what I'm saying, either whether you're a pilot or not, if you have this higher level of intelligence that I talk about, and on top of that, maybe there's some other people here that are also pilots on top of that, you will know what I'm saying. We have to dumb ourselves down to just have basic conversations with people. It seems like nowadays, when you want to talk with somebody and they're just talking about some pretty basic things, like talking about gossiping, either gossiping or talking about artists, rappers or whatever, what the new artist or actor or actress is doing, you know. And talking about that, something that just came to my mind. If you're one of these persons that, I'm talking to the girls over here. If you're one of these girls that watch this type of shows, like the Kardashian shows, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I don't know if that's how it's said. But if you watch that type of show, like, you're one of the literally lowest people out there.
Oh, I didn't have the mic on. I really relate to that, and many subscribers have said that they can't engage the people in their life in serious conversation. And I had such a difficult time in Great Barrington when I lived there with my social network of liberal Democrats, but they were the educated. They thought the educated elite. Hardly. But couldn't have the gossiping. You could really have an awful lot of friends if you were into gossiping. Talking about yourself in a whole lot was bullshit, because a lot of them were in AA, on the spiritual path of materialism, and it was very hard, to try to talk about anything that, Obama, what he was doing, because they didn't want to hear that he was a lying sack of shit, that he was no better than Bush, as Trump was hardly any better than Obama. They all just carry on the same policies of those hidden behind the curtain. But I'm hearing more and more from people who are really having a hard time with having any kind of social contacts today. What does that mean? It means that their social contact is here. That's not good, because this isn't real. We need real interactions with one another. That's how you get connection. You don't get connection in the cyber world. Maybe some people have been able to form some kind of connection, when you get a little bit more real, when you're no longer, just responding to comments and emails, but you're beginning to talk to one another, and then hopefully close enough to actually engage in face-to-face discussion. That's where connection comes. That's why they're busting it up and putting all of us into the cyber world, because they know that there is no, bond here. So I'll post the video. You can listen to the remainder. It's only a 10 or 11 minute video. But here, I was listening to this guy, Life is BS.
I don't really love anyone in this world. I'm like really alone. Like I'm really fucking lonely. I don't know. I just want to come out here and I want to talk, say something, do something before I feel like I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I guess I'm trying to get away from all this shit, but you can't. It's impossible. You have to be around people. Yet people fucking suck. People don't care about you. If you're a little weird or you're a little awkward, people fucking hate you. They don't want to be around you. And they don't care about any of your issues or how you feel whatsoever. That's the truth. I'm just tired of like feeling this way, you know? Like I'm stuck, I'm trapped, I'm bored. There's nothing to do. Everything about life has to do with other people, and I don't want to be around other people anymore, 'cause all it is disappointment every time. It's like they want you to be a certain way, but I can't be that way. I feel like I'm not supposed to be a part of this society. I don't fit in it. It's like really fucking irritating, man. I want to just drive away. Like, I'm here in the back of the parking lot, and I just want to be by myself. This is like the most peaceful for me. To just be on my own, just away from people. Just, you know, I try so hard to try and be normal, to be kind to others, to try and just fit.
And, you know, you can tell that this guy is a kind guy, that he's kind, that he's a gentle kind of guy. Doesn't belong in this society. Because this society, what has manifested, especially American society, is so materialistic, superficial, hardly anyone connecting with anyone on a deeper level than, you know, first base, the superficial base. And we don't focus on what's most important in life that really brings about joy and happiness. You know, things like connection with one another. Things like dropping the mask and being real in life so that you can connect with other people. Trust. Making sure that we build trust in relationships. It is the foundation of every healthy relationship. Trust. Being honest with one another. And when you don't have that, you have nothing. You just have a whole lot of superficial bullshit that people just continue on for their lives until they die. That doesn't bring about life. It brings about a stagnation of life. And this is another man. Life is bullshit. I'm always alone.
And I'm just, like I said, I'm just looking around in this room full of people at the W. I'm just like, man, everybody in here fake, man. Everybody in here is just superficial, man. And honestly, man, that's why I got my passport. Because I'm like, maybe it's just the Western culture. Maybe it's just the Western culture, because it's like everybody's acting like they're superstars. Everybody's trying to act like they're famous or they're some type of celebrity. It's crazy. It's madness. It's ridiculous. It's petty. It's childish. Immature. You know, all the girls are walking around like they're like freaking on the Housewives of Atlanta, you know, or the Housewives of LA or something, you know, and it's ridiculous. It's the society that we live in nowadays. It's like, it's so boring. Like, it's like if you have to, like, most people, if you look around, most people are following the same trends that he does, and he does, and he does, and what he does, and he's doing what he does. She's wearing her hair like her hair. She's putting on the same makeup she has. She's wearing the same outfit that she has. It's like everybody's copying each other, and nobody is unique anymore. Nobody's unique. And so, like I said, me being unique, me being strange, and I think different.
But I think, you know, you shouldn't take these words like strange in a derogatory sense. When you're real out in the world, you feel strange because so many people are not. A whole lot of people are attracted to it, but then they just want to go back into their plastic world after a certain amount of time. And I do want to acknowledge that, yes, apparently Julian Assange is going to be set free in the UK as long as he commits, as long as he states that he's guilty of the offenses in the United States. I have to look into that a little bit more to fully understand what's going on, but that's what came about later this afternoon. So yeah, you know, people who are real are finding themselves alone a lot, and that is not good. I want to play a little bit of this. Everybody knows the world has gone crazy, but what to do about it? Well, he says, look inside. I'm not the only one who gets the connection between the individual and the collective, the individual in the aggregate, the family unit in the aggregate manifests society. In order to manifest anything different, we have to do the work, our individual selves, so that we manifest something different. So, and it's 6:48, so I'm going to have to put off some lies that were put underneath in the comments section of my videos, lies about me. I'll put it off until tomorrow. So, but I want you to hear what he has to say.
Is there a solution for this insanity?
Right, he talks about having gone to many places in the world. Everybody knows that, you know, the world has gone crazy. And then is there a solution?
I ask people a lot, what do they think? What do they think the solution would be for this? And most people really do not have an answer. They have fantasies. They say, oh, we'll vote for a different person, vote for a different political party, a different politician, you know, oh, we just have to live our lives. There's nothing we can do about it. A lot of people just throw up their hands and just say, keep on living, do your best. But real solutions that people really have hope? No. Because that's another thing that I say. The world has gone crazy, and it's just going to keep getting crazier, and everybody knows it's true. Well, I've said it before. There is one answer. It's a hard and painful answer, and that's looking within at our own personal history. Each person has to do this. Look within, critique the people who specifically harmed us, starting with the people who had the most power in our lives, our own parents. And when I say that, because that's the only thing that I've ever seen that really changes an individual, and therefore on a mass level could change all individuals.
Your past, a whole lot of people say, oh, just let go of the past. The past is the past, forget about it. No, the past controls individuals until they examine it, resolve the issues from the past. That's when you are no longer in its grips. The past is very, incredibly powerful. It informs your choices, your decisions, your behavior in the world. Yeah. Your views, your opinions. And a whole lot of people don't get that. They have no consciousness of how powerful their past is. You know, their beliefs come from their past. And a whole lot of people, when you, well, I don't want to go there, but You become an adult when you examine all of these opinions and views of the world and beliefs that you have. When you examine them, when you understand where they come from, and then you make your own individual choices about your opinion and your views and your beliefs. A whole lot of people carry on all of that stuff because of what was going on in their childhoods from these adults that were influential in their life, and then they're set on a trajectory. They have these beliefs. It was exactly what happened to me as a Democrat, right? I'm not a Democrat now. But, well, Patrick, you're going to have to tune in tomorrow. But because of that social network, now the names and the faces changed within that social network, but all of the ideas and the views and the opinions remained the same. And I was in a bubble. And I had no clue. Oh, and we all thought we were smarter than those Republicans, and we had all of the right answers, and all of the policies that we just accepted because it was a group mentality. And I had never, for decades, never examined whether or not I actually believed in those policies. And then I thought to myself, how did I get all of this? Why did I believe all of this? Because I have always felt like I'm the stupid one. And a lot of my friends were quite intelligent, or educated, I should say. And so I think there's a subconsciousness that goes on in these bubbles that you subconsciously think, well, someone must have checked it out. Like, this is good. Because everybody is agreeing, so you go along with the herd. Step out of your bubbles and think and examine. It's the only way that we can grow. But I will post the link to his video, and he has a lot of good things to say. I subscribe. Mackler, Daniel Mackler. Yeah. It's very important that we do that individual work so that we grow and grow up. You know, look, I don't think anyone is sane growing up as an American. You know, I got myself better, but it's a lifelong process, and I continue and continue. So, yeah. Bring your best self to life. And you can't bring your best self to life if you don't know who you are. And a whole lot of people think that they know who they are, and they don't. That's why we're living such a friggin' nightmare. So, be honest in life. You have to examine yourself to understand that, holy shit, I've been living a pretense. You know, I have these behaviors that, well, cast me as not a very honest person. You can't know it unless you examine yourself, and then you get yourself on the right track. So, live honestly, speak honestly. We need trust. Don't lie. And don't lie about people. That's the worst, man. The gossip, the lying about people. Let's stop it already. Yeah. Thank you for showing up. I hope to see you tomorrow night. Be safe. Help those in your community in need, your friends, your family. We have to change. We have to change. That's within your control. And that's a choice. So, on that note, I say good night and good luck. Everybody stay safe. Ciao.